Hello, welcome to BITCAP's PathFinder training sessions. In this video, I will show you the basic features of PathFinder and how to navigate around the wells and offset wells. So let's get started. First, open PathFinder and let me give you an overview. On the left side, we have the smart tree. This is where all the wells, offsets, maps, cross-sections, and correlation panels will be located. In the middle, we have the geosteering panel. At the bottom, you'll see your vertical section chart. On the right, we have the TBD logs, and on the top right corner, you have the toolbar. Navigating the geosteering window is very simple in PathFinder. You can click and drag to move around the geosteering window, and use the scroll wheel on your mouse to zoom in and out. Keep in mind that it zooms in or out where the cursor is present. You may have noticed that the TBD plots are locked into the trajectory. This can be unlocked using the lock/unlock icon in the toolbar on the top right. Now, let's go over the smart tree. You have access to all your wells under the Wells tab. All offsets and their data is under the Offsets tab. Your structure maps, shape files, and grids are under Mapping. Cross-sections will be under the Cross-sections. And finally, here are your correlation tabs. Let's go through each one of these and get a feel of how PathFinder works. You can use the Expand button to see all your wells. Then you can press the well icon to activate a well. You'll notice that when you first open PathFinder, you're in the geosteering window by default. In terms of the X and Y axis, we have the vertical section in X axis and the TBD is on the Y axis. Going back to your Wells tab, you can set the KB or vertical section direction by double-clicking into the appropriate box, entering the number and pressing enter. You can also select the vertical exaggeration from the drop-down menu or manually enter a number here. In this case, we have it set to 20. You can press the Expand button to hide or show all of the wells options. Let's go over these one by one. Surveys. Here, you can see the last few surveys. You can edit or get a quick bit projection by entering your measured depth, inclination, and azimuth into the yellow boxes. You can press the number sign to view and modify the surveys. Here you can also enter or edit the KB, vertical section direction, X and Y location of the well, along with the grid convergence and vertical exaggeration. You can easily import the surveys in any format using the Survey Import button or stream them in real time from the drilling rig using Witsmill connection. Let's move on to the log section. Logs can be imported in any format using the Log Import button. Once imported, they will always show under the Logs tab. You can click the Expand button to hide or show them. Here, you can use the check mark to activate or deactivate the logs. Remember, they also have to be activated in the TBD and VS plots. Color or formatting can be set by clicking the log icon. You can view and modify the log values for each log by clicking the number sign. Minimum and maximum scale of each log can be easily set by double-clicking right in the smart tree, entering the desired values, and then pressing enter. You can also despike the logs by clicking the despike button and then dragging the slider. Here, change the thickness of the log. And of course, there's the delete button in case you wanted to delete a log. Finally, these options can also be accessed by simply right-clicking on a log. Let's move on to tops. Here, by default, you have a top set called top set 0, which is basically a set of tops that will hold all the formation tops of your well. And of course, you can also add new top sets using the Add Top Set button in case your team member wants to pick their own tops. When your team member wants to use their top set, they will need to activate it by clicking the top set icon. You can rename the top set the same way that you can rename anything in the smart tree, by double-clicking on the name. This is the default color for all tops in this top set. You can also import and export a top set in text format using these two buttons. If you expand the top set, you can see all your formation tops here, along with their measured depth, TBD, and subsea values. Also, you can edit or enter any one of these values right in the smart tree. And of course, new tops can be added using the Add New Top button. If you'd like, you can change the colors by clicking the top icon and then selecting a color. There are a few ways you can pick the new formation top. One, you can manually enter the measured depth, or TBD, or subsea, right in the smart tree. Two, you can directly pick the new top in the TBD plot using the Pick Top button and then clicking at the appropriate depth in the TBD plot. Or three, they can be picked in the Correlations tab. That I'll show you in another video. Here, you can also use the Create Bed button to instantly create a bed from a formation top. New beds will be created at Formation Top's TBD, and then they will show in the Active Geosteering tab. We'll cover that in detail in a little bit. Moving on to geosteering. This is basically your interpretation. Here, the default interpretation will be called Geosteering 1. Feel free to rename it. You can add another interpretation by clicking the Add New Geosteering button. And then a geosteering interpretation can be activated by clicking on the icon. Moving forward, you can change the colors of the beds by clicking the bed icon and selecting a new color. You can also change its initial TBD by entering it here. Or just pick it in the TBD log using the Pick Bed button. You can always add a new bed by clicking the Add New Bed button. Then you pick it on the TBD log using the Edit Bed button. Or by entering the TBD value of it in this box here. Moving on to targets. They're very simple in PathFinder. Just click the Add New Target button. This will create a new target starting at the last survey point. You can easily adjust the length, TBD, and inclination of the target right in the smart tree. For example, we will change the length of the target to 300. Then we can enter the inclination and the program will calculate the TBD value. Similarly, we can enter the TBD value and PathFinder will calculate the inclination. You can also open up the target spreadsheet by clicking the number sign. Here you can enter the start and end values of the target line. Samples. Samples are added in a very simple manner by clicking the Add New Sample button. Here you can enter the to and from depths. Then you can select the rock type, enter the percentage, porosity, sample description, and select or take a photo. Click the Add button to add the sample. In the geosteering window, you can hover on the sample depth to quickly view the sample. Well plan. Well plan works in a very similar manner. The default plan is called Well Plan 1. You can add a new plan, rename it, and import the trajectory, just like in surveys. Everything here is pretty self-explanatory. Offsets. Moving on to offset wells. Here, you can import and offset wells surveys, logs, and top sets, just like in wells. Then you can show its logs in the TVD chart by enabling it and selecting it in the TVD chart. If you need to move the offset log up or down for well landing purposes, you can activate the offset well by clicking the offset well icon. Pressing the icon again will lock its log in place. That's it for this video. In the next video, I will cover the mapping section, which is really easy to use in PathFinder. Thanks for watching. Bye now.